CP.
Are you serious? He's gone. 40, 30, Portis all the way. Touchdown Redskins, 64 yards.
26 minutes.
He's pretty sharp. He'll coach you up on the Miami guys and everything else. He's kind of fun to be around. Got an opinion too.
I've been blessed to have the opportunity to go out and be myself and say the things that I say. And for the outside world, they can deal with it how they deal with it.
26 minutes with Clinton Portis. CP. Teach him something.
Welcome to 26 Minutes, episode 50. But guess what this is? The recap of week 1 of the NFL season, joined by my lovely co-host, Monica McNutt. As usual, I'm Clinton Portis, and we have a lot to talk about.
I love the in-season energy that you just brought.
I know. I just figured I need to step it up, man. I got to project this word. I got to give it to them.
All right, week 1.
Recap. Week 1 recap. So, of the Redskins. Week 1 skins recap.
All right.
Tale of two halves.
Tale of two halves, but at this moment, as your teammate, I'm going to go ahead and prop you up. Because essentially what happened, you called. Nailed it.
Ding!
We need all the sound effects for accuracy.
Ding!
That's annoying.
Listen, good thing about sports is it's week to week, right? For a former player, for athletes, for players, it's like game to game. You have a good experience, you can't get too high. You have a bad one, you can't get too low because you got to recover for next week. And that goes on throughout the entire season. So you got to forget, you got to put it in your review and move forward. For everything that happened last week, you put it behind you. For the locker room, the game, what went wrong, just put it behind you. Hey, it happened, learn from it, move on.
Okay. In learning from it, give me the positive takeaway. Give me the thing that we must improve on or else it's going to be an extremely long season.
The positive, I think you found out that your quarterback can play, right? Okay. You got a quarterback who can lead this team. He can actually play good football. He throws some beautiful balls. You missed a guy, you missed Terry late in the game, but he made some plays. Moving, being able to find different receivers, spread the ball around. It was impressive. So you have something to build on. You got to establish a running game. You got to establish a running game. You got to be able to run the ball. This is offensively. You got to be able to run the ball. I think the young wide receivers stepped up. The receivers made plays. 100%. But Paul Richardson had a play that it didn't count, but that reception in the end zone where he stepped out of bounds, that was huge. That's playmaking ability. Terry making the plays. Trey Quinn making plays. Once you get Jordan Reed back into the fold, that changes because now these guys, they open it up more for these guys. Offensive line were actually impressive in the first half. They kept the pressure.
Very solid. Yes.
Yeah, they kept the pressure. They kept the quarterback upright and clean. But then the penalties you got to get rid of. Some questionable penalties, but you got to get rid of. Defensively, same thing. Tell the two halves. With Jonathan Allen, without Jonathan Allen. With Jonathan Allen, this defense looked amazing. Looked like studs. It just seemed like you had finally arrived. All of a sudden, Jonathan Allen leaves the field, and the defense couldn't get off the field. It goes unnoted to a lot of things that happen. Landon Collins basically took Zach Ertz out of the game in the first half.
Yeah,
he had one catch for 5 yards. No one is talking about that, but Landon Collins' questionable traits was coverage. He kept Zach Ertz quiet. Holcomb stood out to me, flying around. Bostic, I love his game as well. The negatives, Kerrigan, Sweat. We got to get some pressure on the quarterback. When we're not able to blitz, the D-line has to get pressure on the quarterback. You got to get back. You can't allow everything to happen. You're not taking away the run. You're not taking away the pass. So that's going to lead to a long day, as it did. We were up 17-0. We eventually lost the game. You got to get pressure on the quarterback. You got to be able to make adjustments. Dunbar, right? Early on, Dunbar was involved in a lot. And you played with a ticking time bomb.
That's a good way
because
to describe it.
trying to get in D-Jack's head only set him off.
Yeah.
It only set him off. Josh Norman, you're taking away Alshon Jeffrey. Bad man. Alshon is really good. But D-Jack is the threat. D-Jack is the instant 7. Alshon Jeffrey's got to beat you 15-yard catch, 18-yard catch, 20-yard catch. He's going to beat you in chunks. D-Jack, 70-yard catch, 60-yard catch.
To the house.
Yeah, you got, and I'm not putting this on Josh, but the communication. You got to figure out who's the best receiver. Although Alshon Jeffries is, hey, this is the Eagles guy, Deshaun Jackson is the Eagles guy. And knowing that he's playing a former team and he's back in Philly. As D coordinator, you got to know who they're going at. You got to know who they're targeting.
100%. Ready, geared up, jacked up, ready to play. And we saw that. Talk to me, though, about losing a 17-point lead. Like, was it
frustrating because you got up so quick?
And so I think this was the first time for me to be in a bar with fans. I was in New York watching the game. And the place was fantastic first half. To your point, tale of two halves. But to me, was it just a matter of the Eagles had not yet warmed up? Or what happens? Like, literally, what happens when you give up a 17-point lead?
That's what happened. The adjustments, the halftime adjustment went to the Eagles because they got better in the second half, and we fatigued. We didn't make any adjustments. I think we came out comfortable. It was like our guys didn't come out of the locker room because they were, hey, we're up 17, look at us. And all of a sudden, you're looking in the mirror, and it's a guy running behind you getting ready to dance in the end zone because he just scored. And being that you couldn't get off the field, all of a sudden, offense is out of rhythm. You go 3 and out, and it's like, okay, we're going to get right. We're going to get right when we get back on the field. And it's like, when are we going to get back on the field? And then you put yourself in that situation again. But due to penalties, look at where the 3 and outs happen. You got penalties that come along with it. You get a drop in the drive. So when you start shooting yourself in the foot, we can't recover. We haven't recovered from those mistakes over the years, over Jay's tenure the entire time. So knowing that as a player, I have to be better. And as a coach, you got to put your players in position to stop thinking. Myself and Cooley went over the breakdown of the run game. Out of the 10 carries that Geis had, 8 of them were different runs. He had 8 different runs. That's not good for your O-line. That's not good for your running back because you're constantly thinking and you're constantly seeing different fronts. Defenses evolve. You're seeing different looks. Hey, we caught him in this. We caught him in that. It's no similarities. It's no, hey, you know what? We just saw them do this when we presented that. They're going to come back with it and we can adjust by doing this. We didn't have that. So you have to be able to say, hey, you know what? Here's our 3 runs. This is what we're going to run. And these are the fronts that we're probably going to see. And if we don't see it, we're going to do it anyway. Right? Just simplify it for your team. And I think when you make those adjustments, because you got a lot of positives out of this game. But the negatives were the moment you lost Jonathan Allen, which you can't control, you couldn't get off the field.
Yeah.
And someone has to make a play. And then when you get a guy in a zone like Terry, when you get a guy that's in the zone, you got to feed him.
Yeah. I definitely would have liked to see Terry get a little bit more action. All right, you've got something that we're adding to the pod on Tuesday.
Well, since we brought Terry up, Performance Player of the Week presented by Bed Gear, the official performance sleep system of the Washington Redskins. It's obvious. It's Terry McLaurin. 5 catches for 125 yards. Sound effects.
Yep, let's see if you insert this. Let's go.
We're gonna get a sound system soon. We're gonna get some sound effects. But Terry McLaurin, I think he shocked, he surprised everyone. Except for me. He didn't surprise
you. When he took off, I was like, I think that's when I texted you. I was like, okay, this is happening. Let's go.
So when you look at the way, it's some players that just got it, right? You can tell in conversation, you can tell by work ethic, you can, if you're around them, you can just tell the confidence is there. The playmaking ability is there. The belief in self is there. Never was this moment too big, right? He made some big catches. Not just a touchdown catch. He made some big catches.
Yeah.
So now that you have that weapon, knowing that you have Paul Richardson as a weapon, knowing that you're going to get Josh Reed back. Oh, Vernon Davis. Man, we haven't spoken about Vernon Davis.
I wasn't going to let it pass. Don't worry.
So Vernon Davis, playmaking ability. What a huge play by Vernon. And condolences to he and his family.
For sure.
But knowing you have some weapons offensively, now you get to sprinkle in guys. Now you get to sprinkle in AP.
Here's my thing, though. When does it need to be all together? Like, I'll give you game one. We've discussed our schedule ad nauseum. The Cowboys rolling here this week on Sunday. We saw bits and pieces. But when does it all need to be in the pot, stirred together, starting to smell good, look nice?
You know, it got to simmer. It got to get right. You can put all the seasoning in. You can play with it.
I got you on simmer, but how long are we simmering?
So the first 4 weeks is taste test.
Okay.
Right? You're tasting it until you say, I got it. I got the formula. Right? Because teams are doing different stuff. You're facing different teams. So the first 4 weeks is kind of your taste test. You figure out what works, what don't work. You start removing stuff. You start removing players. You start putting in guys. Hey, you know what? This guy can play. This is who I'm going with. So you get 4 weeks. But the only negative is by week 4, you don't want to be tasting burnt at the bottom. So you got to make sure you get that mix game right. You know what I'm saying? You got to make sure you get that mix game right. Pay the bills. And we're going to bring it back to the energy. People.
Whether it's on the field or in the classroom, the Washington Redskins believe learning should be fun. I know that's right. That's why we've partnered with youth entrepreneurs to bring their engaging, hands-on style of learning to the classrooms in the D.C. metro area. Youth Entrepreneurs curriculum was created by educators and for educators. That means it's flexible, fun, and absolutely, the best part, y'all, free. To learn more about Youth Entrepreneurs and how to experience it for yourself, visit getye.org.
Episode 50, 26 minutes. So look, we're going to do something.
Look at us go. Okay.
Yeah, we're going to do something different. We have some, what I think would be interesting. I think people should be excited about this because we got a good week 1 recap. So
yes.
In recapping the entire NFL week 1, we're going to let you take it away.
All right, I'm going to rattle off these scores. You give me your instant thought on what. Oh, wait, this thing just took me back to preseason. Okay, here we go. Week 1, Thursday night, Packers, Bears, 10-3 Green Bay.
Expected, I would assume. Expected game because both defenses, well, Green Bay defense is really improved. Chicago offensively, I'm not sold on their quarterback. And you lose your defensive coordinator to the Denver Broncos, which kind of changed your defense around. You know, it wasn't that same attack, aggressive defense out of Chicago Bears.
Got it. I want this to be rapid fire. Okay, ready? Let's go. Falcons, Vikings, Kirk Cousins in the game, 28-12.
10 passing attempts. The Vikings have decided they want to run the ball and play defense.
Dog,
that's how they're going to win.
I was playing against Dalvin Cook. I was not feeling it.
You're paying a lot of money for a guy to turn around and hand the ball off.
Very true. Very true. Bills, Jets, 17-16, Buffalo.
Shocking because the Jets were up 16-0.
Okay.
The Jets were up 16-0 and lost that game.
I wasn't watching that one. Interesting. All right, we already talked about us. Skip that. Chargers, Colts, 30-24, Phillip Rivers.
Colts showed some promise.
Jacoby Brissett, yeah.
Colts showed promise. The Chargers just jumped out and were able to sustain.
That was an overtime game. In our division, man, Cowboys 35, Giants 17.
Cowboys look so good, man.
I hated it.
You hate it. I hate it. I don't want to give the Cowboys any credit. But Dak Prescott had a perfect passer rating. And those 3 receivers, Gallup, Cobb, and Amari Cooper, are going to cause hell for the NFL. They would be the best receiving core if the New England Patriots didn't have what they have.
We got to get to that before this podcast is up. But stop. We're going to chill with the Dallas praise. Moving on. We got the tie. Kyler Murray, Cliff Kingsbury, the air raid, tying up the Lions 27-all. It took overtime to do it. Were you impressed by the Rook?
I wasn't impressed. It cost me moolah that he went out and played so well. But that's exciting. Larry Fitzgerald's still doing it at a high level. Kyler Murray, and I mean, That's what you want to see out of your first round pick.
All right, Chiefs, Jaguars, Patrick Mahomes, Sammy Watkins, 40-26. And we had some scuffles in that game.
Listen, the Jaguars are right back where they were last year. You lose your quarterback in Nick Foles defensively. It's just no – you know what it is? When your linebacker goes and throw a punch in the end zone, it's no discipline.
Reckless.
You're losing the team. But when you look at the Chiefs, and, it goes understated, LaShawn McCoy addition to the Chiefs make them a legit Super Bowl contender. And it doesn't seem that way in week one because he wasn't a huge factor. But you lose Tyreek Hill, who's going to be on the injured list for quite some time. Sammy Watkins and LaShawn McCoy, along with Kelsey, are going to come up huge for Patrick Mahomes. Man, listen, the Kansas City Chiefs, I like.
Ooh, boy. All right. $350,000 watch makes it easy to see that you're catching an L and the game is over. Titans 43-13 to the Browns, who are supposed to win their division. What?
Listen, first take, everyone was Browns.
Yeah.
Hey, it's another team in that division that we should talk about.
All right, speaking of, we're rolling right to that game. 59, a record in this joint. What's the record in this joint? 59-10 over the Dolphins. I get it. Lamar Jackson. Oh, y'all said he should be running back. Hollywood Brown.
Bad man.
Lights out up in Baltimore.
Listen, this was the perfect situation for Mark Ingram to go into, right? You can't focus on Mark Ingram because Lamar Jackson in the accuracy, he can only run the ball, looked pretty accurate to me. Threw some hell of a passes to Hollywood Brown down the seam, who's only making huge plays. And then you got that defense with the high-power offense. The AFC is going to be tough in the playoffs.
Who do you expect a better year out of, Hollywood Brown or our Terry McLaurin?
I think Hollywood Brown.
Okay.
And the reason I say I think Hollywood Brown is because the Ravens defense is going to keep the ball in their hands.
Got it.
So how do you game plan for that? He had a fake, and the ball wasn't even pulled out of the pocket when he zipped a rocket to Hollywood Brown.
Ooh, that's the bad man. All right, keep it rolling. Cam, he just couldn't get it done. Cam had a rough day. Rams 30, Panthers 27.
Well, Cam pregame celebration with his old lineman kind of threw me for a loop. All of them stood in front of each other and pumped in the air. It was one of those.
I missed that one. Okay.
Yeah, when you go back and look at that, it's some freaky stuff going on in Carolina.
Seahawks 21-20 over the Bengals.
They struggled. The Bengals actually were in control that entire game, and the Seahawks just found a way to pull it off. So they didn't look good. Defensively, they looked horrible. Offensively, they looked horrible. So I'm not sure what's going on in Seattle.
49ers 31, Bucks 17.
That was probably the real highest scoring game of week one. They had 6 or 7 touchdowns called back.
Gee whiz. Steelers, Patriots 33-3.
So the Steelers offense struggled. Not having AB, not having Le'Veon, which you saw them play without Le'Veon, but not having AB is huge for the Steelers. So I think it was kind of
even though he was kind of on the field, not really on the field last year. I do think that James Conner and Juju and them it's different being
it's just different. You don't have that Juju. I think Juju is still going to have a good year, but James Washington, it's a difference.
Yeah.
But the New England Patriots, man, when I say they got a receiving core, and they didn't even have
Josh
AB.
Gordon looks so good.
Josh Gordon, Philip Dorsett.
I'm happy for him.
Man, are you happy? I'm happy.
I'm happy for him.
What I really want is I want Gronk to come back out of retirement just to join them.
Gronk look like a model. He don't even have Gronk football body going right now.
It doesn't even matter. I just want him to come back out of retirement and join them.
All right, we got
along with AB.
That's crazy. All right, we got 2 more games and we got to wrap this one up. Broncos Raiders was the late night game last night. The Raiders 24-16.
All over the Broncos. Derek Carr looked good. The Raiders looked good defensively.
Is that sustainable?
The Raiders defense, if their defense played like that the entire season, they were hitting people.
Yeah, but is the same thing going to happen that we saw happen to us in terms of the defense working and then getting fatigued because the offense necessarily can't pull its own weight?
The Raiders look good. They look like they could pull it to me.
All right, and so far in the 2019-2020 NFL season,
the best
don't
game.
at me. The best game so far. Saints 30, Texans 28, narrowly avoiding disaster in the Superdome with all the Saints fans. Oh, your team, sort of, in their referee gear.
It ain't no sort of. It's
That is
my
your team. Okay, that is your team.
So, Deshaun Watson and Hopkins, what a combination, right? For them to even go and score at the end of the game to take the lead. Now, the Saints player that ran into the kicker would probably be on the waiver wire today if it wasn't for the kicker going to make a 58-yard field goal.
You don't think that call was light, though? The kick was done.
Yeah, but you can't touch it.
All right.
You can't touch it.
Fair enough. Really
Pay the
quickly,
bills.
in segment 2, our safe space for our fantasy fails. This is our confessional. What was your fantasy fail this week?
My fantasy fail was I started Aaron Rodgers against Chicago Bears defense, which I knew I shouldn't have. And I had Tyreek Hill, and he got hurt in the first quarter. So, epic fail by me.
Did you win?
No, I got blew out.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But it's minor. It's just, minor
Week one.
setback for a major comeback.
Week 1.
Yeah,
All right,
I'll be
my
fine.
fantasy fail is I left Sammy Watkins on my bench. I started Julio Jones, who gave me 9 compared to 37 in my weirdly calculated points league. Silver lining, eked out a 2-point win. Shout out to the Saints defense and those sacks. Woo!
Pay some bills.
Hey there, it's Monica and Clinton Portis of 26 Minutes, and one of our favorite things to do is play games from the Virginia Lottery, and they just introduced a new game. It's called Print and Play Rolling Jackpot. It's a Virginia-only instant win game, and it has a starting jackpot of $50,000. The jackpot increases with each ticket sold until the jackpot is won. There are no play slips to fill out and no waiting for a drawing. Just purchase, play, and check to see if you won. It is so easy. A $2 ticket can win 20% of the jackpot. A $5 ticket can win 50% of the jackpot. And a $10 ticket can win 100% of the jackpot. For each price point, the odds of winning the top prize are 1 in 240,000. Look for it at your favorite Virginia lottery retailer. Helping people improve their lives is what should drive business. That's the belief at Koch Industries, which employs more than 65,000 people across America. The team at Koch works together to meet the world's changing needs in transportation, medical care, water filtration, household goods, energy-efficient building products, and everyday technologies, all while consuming fewer resources. See the innovations firsthand at kochindustries.com.
I'm trying to meet that boy Clinton Portis, though. They say that boy, they say he's smooth on his feet. I'm trying to teach him something.
Teach him something.
Teach him something.
So we're going to bring in a segment that I think is going to be really exciting, right? We just came up with this on the show, and we figured to do it every time in our recap
Let's do it.
segments. It's called Standouts and Duds.
Boo, duds.
Standouts. Woohoo! Hey, when we get these sound effects, it's going to be awesome.
So exciting.
Standouts and Duds, we're going to highlight, what we think stood out, or people who saved the game, individuals, or a team. So it could be either. So I don't want you to say, oh, well, you didn't say this person or you didn't say that person.
Okay.
We only have one. All right. For the
Just
fans
one.
that's listening, we only have one. So we're going to start off with you. The drum roll for the
roll.
standout is.
I think this is a no-brainer. Week 1, game 1 could be the game of the season. Saints, Texans, Will Lutz, 58.
58-yard field goal.
All 58
That
yards.
would have been good for 64, 65.
I just think my man was locked in.
When he kicked that, I was like, oh, that's good. Soon as his leg made contact, I said, that's good.
It was such a great game, though. Because even
was.
on the other side, when the Texans went up, when it was almost tied, and then they went up, I was like, it's Drew, though. It's Drew Brees at home. We're talking about payback, get back. Here we come after what happened to them in the playoffs.
So let's go with something that went unnoticed in this game, right? If the DB doesn't touch the wide receiver with 2 seconds left, the Saints can't call a timeout because the play is not dead. He could have allowed the time to run off the clock. If he doesn't go and touch that man, he's not down. The time would have ran off the clock. Game would have been over. The Texans win.
Because Drew was taking his sweet time.
It had nothing to do with time. When they needed the completion, that final completion that they made to get to 2 seconds to get the field goal team, they had one timeout.
So
If a receiver catches the ball and goes down on the ground and no one touches him, then it's still live. This isn't college football. He's not down. So if he doesn't,
is the average NFL player aware of that? Like thinking that? Like how do we not?
Listen, the DB rushed over to touch him. If the DB doesn't go and dive on top of him, the Texans win that game.
So why are we not screaming, "Don't touch him"?
Beats me. Awareness, knowing situational football.
Wow, that one. All right, I got the happy one today. Time for the dud.
And the dud goes to none other, because I skipped this on purpose because I wanted to talk about it. You're wearing a watch during the game. Blinged out watch. All this praise to the Cleveland Browns. And you come out week 1 at home and you get your butt kicked by Tennessee Titans, who did everything they wanted to do up and down the field. They threw the ball with Mariota. They ran the ball down Cleveland's defense throat. Cleveland's offense looked horrible. Penalties, undisciplined. Baker Mayfield, OBJ, Landry, Njoku, Chubb. No one came to the game. So the highlight from the Cleveland Browns is how dope OBJ watch was during the game.
What a dud.
Now, a lot of people are gonna run with the Browns, right? I think the Browns is a good organization. I mean, a good team. I think this team is a good team. The coach, I'm not sure if he's ready, which I stated on First Take.
You did?
The offensive line is not that good. And then your best offensive lineman goes out and kicks somebody.
Greg Robinson, you're in timeout.
Guess where he's from?
Miami.
No.
I don't know. Where's he from?
Don't even matter. The Cleveland Browns, you're my dud.
Okay. I love this standouts and duds thing. This is going to be fun. But before we wrap up podcast 1, because to all of our faithful listeners, we're up in the ante. We're going to hit you 2 times a week.
Twice
is nice, right? Week 1, prior to week 1, the biggest story we've seen in the NFL, maybe not the biggest story. Let me not be Mike Greenberg, who completely hyped this whole thing. But the AB situation. It is definitely a spectacle. I don't think it's the most egregious thing we've seen in sports ever.
I don't either. But you know what I am, which I said this as well. I have my text messages to prove it. Before AB signed with the Patriots, way before AB signed with the Patriots, I said that's where he was going. I got it in a text message just to show you. And this was a Patriots move. They always find these type of players and put them in a situation to build their organization. Not that they need help, but now after scoring 30 points against the Pittsburgh Steelers, they got the Miami Dolphins, who gave up 50 points to the Baltimore Ravens. So my over-under for the Patriots this week, 60 points. I think the Raiders score 60 because AB is going back home to Miami.
The Patriots score 60.
Which Lamar Jackson, that was his debut in Miami. Mm-hmm. He's from Pompano, right there in that area. So AB gets to go back to Miami. I think the Patriots score 60 points.
Do you think AB legit did this whole thing on purpose? Like, was he playing chess and we all playing chess?
He had to be, because now he's so quiet. You haven't heard anything out of him. I think he wanted to get out of Oakland. It has to stay that way. How can you be
such a wild card because you want to go to a Patriots organization and then you got the strictest principal coach organization of the game and now you're going to act right?
AB is a hell of a player, right? But you have to have AB with the right organization. I think he lost respect for Coach Tomlin at some point, because prior to that, Coach Tomlin did a good job at taming AB. I just don't think he respected the Raiders organization, and he wanted out. And he forced himself out. Why else would you go post? Like, you're doing stuff to kind of throw it in their face. And now all of a sudden, since the trade, no AB site. Maybe it was a selfish decision.
It's been like 5 days, though.
it doesn't matter. When was the last time he had 5 quiet days?
You're right about that.
He hadn't had 5 quiet days the entire offseason. Now all of a sudden he's going to the Patriots. He's focused. AB gonna come put on the show this year.
He's living with Tom Brady eating avocado ice cream for the next couple of weeks. Good show, CP.
That's it for episode. Well, that's it. Episode 50 of 26 minutes. We're gonna give you 51 this week as well. So check us out. We got 2 podcasts coming out this week. We're doing big things, Monica.
Big
Peace
things.
out.
Locally owned Novec has the most reliable power in the region. And we all know how important being reliable is.
Especially with my electricity.
Novec provides electricity from multiple renewable sources
Yeah!
and will soon include even more solar.
That's great.
And Novec offers convenient 24/7 online services.
I can pay my bill anytime, anywhere.
Novec.
Power you can trust.
Well, the new football season is almost here, and this team is not going to settle this year.
No way. They're focused on being the best. That's why they all went and got Hondas on clearance at the Honda Summer Spectacular event.
Because as we all know, if you want to be the best,
You have to drive the best.
Exactly.
Don't settle this football season. Get clearance pricing on a reliable, award-winning Honda like the Accord, Civic, CR-V, HR-V, Pilot, and more. Don't settle. Get to the Honda Summer Spectacular event at your local Honda dealer today.